Hey there, Jake Dempsey, CEO and co-founder of Project Broadcast. In this video, we're going to go over two different campaign types. One is the event campaign, and the other is the countdown campaign. These campaign types are really similar, so I want to do them in the same video. Remember, you can always visit training.projectbroadcast.com to look at additional training modules. And if you have any questions about getting your account set up, or even questions about the features of Project Broadcast, feel free to email us at support@projectbroadcast.com. Let's hop over to Project Broadcast and take a look at these two campaign types. In Project Broadcast, campaigns can be found in the left-hand navigation under the automation section. Now, the reason I want to go over event and countdown campaigns in one video is they're actually very, very similar campaign types. And I'm going to start with the countdown campaign first, because understanding the countdown campaign makes it easier for you to understand the event campaign. So I'm going to create a countdown campaign. And a countdown campaign, part of the countdown campaign is that you provide an event date. So you have an upcoming event, and you want to create messages leading up to that event. So I'm going to just create a campaign. I'm just going to call it My Big Event. Your event is probably got a much better name. So I'm going to create a campaign and call it My Big Event. Now, in the event, or excuse me, in the countdown campaign, there is an end date and time. So this would be like the date of my big event. Let's just, for argument's sake, say that my big event is going to be in maybe April the 25th, and it ends at 6 p.m. So I've got an event, and that event ends on April 25th at 6 p.m. So as I build messages now, the messages have a day delay, which is leading up to this date. Meaning when I create these messages, I'm going to say things like 1 day before this event, 3 days before this event, 7 days before this event. So let's go in and manage the messages for our countdown campaign. It's showing us, the date and time of the event and when it ends. And when I create a message, I'll call this like day before. So this is important, day before message. Again, your message is going to be much better than this. Have emojis, images up to 1,024 characters. And I want this to be 1 day before. And I'm going to set the time of that to be like 3:50 p.m. Like I said, I like using kind of odd times on campaign messages. So this is going to be 1 day before, and I'll create two more messages: a 3-day before message and a 7-day before message, just so we have more than one message in our countdown campaign. So that's our 1 day before. So that means on April the 24th at 3:50 p.m. that's when this message is going to be sent. Create another message. We'll call this 7-day before, or 3-day before, sorry. Again, I'm just putting a placeholder here. This is your 3-day before message. I want that to be 3 days before, and we'll send that one at 4:51 p.m. And now I'm going to go create one more message. We'll call that the 7-day before message. Again, your messages are going to be much better than this. 7 days before. And let's send this one at 3:42 p.m. So I should have 3 messages now leading up to my big event, which is on April 25th at 6 p.m. I want a message to go out a day before the event, 3 days before the event, and 7 days before the event. Now, at some point, I'm going to add contacts to this campaign. And again, you can add contacts either directly on the campaign. You can do it on the contact details screen. You can do it via chat. You can even do it with a keyword. So I'm just going to manually add a contact here so that you can see what happens to the schedule when I add a contact. So right now there's no contacts. But if I add a contact to this campaign, I should be able to go to the schedule and refresh it and see that April 18th, there's the 7 day before, there's the 22nd, 3 days before, And there's the 1 day before message on the 24th and my events on the 25th. So the system has scheduled all of the messages for me leading up to that event. Now, I can add as many people as I want to this, obviously, and I can either do that via keywords, add them manually via contacts. Maybe you've imported people and you have a bunch of them tagged and you want to add them to your campaign based on the tag they're in. So that is a countdown campaign. The reason I wanted to show you a countdown campaign first is that an event campaign is very similar. There's only one kind of nuance that's different. When you create an event style campaign, notice how in the countdown campaign, we had to give it a single date and time. Well, in an event campaign, you do not provide a date and time when you create the campaign. You select the date and time when you add contacts. Now, why is that important? Well, an event campaign is really useful when you have kind of a repeating event. So let's just, for argument's sake, say that I run a monthly fitness class and I want to kind of prepare people for that fitness class leading up to it every month. But obviously the event date is different, right? Each month it's a different event date. Now, I could clone a countdown campaign each month and set the specific date and time of the fitness class and add the contacts to it. That's one way of doing it, and you can certainly do it that way. But another way would be to think about using the event campaign. So I'm going to create an event campaign, and let's just call it my fitness class prep campaign. Now, notice in the event style campaign, there is no date that I have to specify here. So I'm going to go manage my messages, and I'm just going to create 2 messages just so you can see what happens. So day before message, we'll do a 1 day before. So this is, 1 day before message. I want it to go out 1 day before, and I want it to go out at 4:54 p.m. Okay. And then let's do one more, just so you can see more than one message in this campaign. Let's do a 3 day before message. And we'll send that one at 3:59 p.m. So if I look at our event campaign, it's got 2 messages. One is 1 day before and one is 3 days before. Now, here's the cool thing about an event style campaign. Well, I have a fitness class every single month. Well, when you add contacts to an event style campaign, I'm going to select a contact. And when I try to add that contact, it gives me the question of, well, what's the date and time of the event? So for this, particular contact, I know they're coming to my March, 28th. Maybe that's the day I do my fitness class, March 28th. And my fitness class is going to be at 6 p.m. So when I add that contact, I did March 28th at 6 p.m. If I go to the schedule, I should now see that it's scheduled messages for 3 days before and 1 day before for my March 28th fitness class. All right, so now let's say I've got a class happening April 28th, for argument's sake. Well, I can go back to that campaign and add another contact. So we'll just, pick another contact. And this person is going to be attending my April 28th fitness class, which is at 6 p.m. I'm using the same campaign, but there are 2 contacts in the campaign, and each contact is attending a different event. But I can use the same campaign. And if I go back to the schedule, I should see that in April, the fitness prep class, there's our April 25th and 27th message for our April 28th class. So consider using an event campaign when you really want to deliver the exact same content for an event, and you have that event multiple times. So again, you could use a countdown campaign, absolutely. And you could create a countdown campaign and clone it each time you have an event. There's nothing wrong with that. You could certainly do it that way. But you could potentially have one campaign, an event type campaign, where each time you add the contacts, you'll tell the system what is the date of the event for these contacts you're about to add. Now, the one caveat to event campaigns that's kind of important to understand is that you cannot use event campaigns on a keyword. And here's why. If someone were to text me the word VIP, I cannot add them to an event campaign because of that keyword, because I don't know what the date of the event would be. So the only caveat with event campaigns is they cannot be used to add people to them automatically by them texting you a keyword. But again, if you've got a kind of a repeating class or workshop that you do and you're trying to prep people, for that class or workshop, and you do it over and over again, instead of creating a campaign each time, maybe explore the new event campaign type.